Hello world, Great Giza Pyramid. How did the Great Giza Pyramid work? Well, I'm going to use some normal static electricity here to separate the water within the system into its two respective gases. Oxygen is going to come out the anode down here at the bottom, and it's going to work its way out of the system. It's going to do some funky things down there. You can go into that in my subterranean videos. But the main primary thing you got to focus on is, as it had to fight its way out the loosely fit rocks, it would create an air gap that would separate the system from the outside world. In addition to that, what we're going to do is we're going to actually engineer these loosely fit rocks to cause a nice little bubble system that will maintain a water level that will be right there. Now, what are we going to do with the hydrogen? Well, it's not trapped there. Remember, there are holes drilled in the southern wall of the grotto area. Well, we're going to take that gas and pipe it up to the top of the king's chamber where we find seeds, shells, and dust that they can't account for. I'm going to tell you it's brought up with the updraft from the hydrogen. It shows you this thing was actually running pretty efficiently at one point. And then we're going to take that standard hydrogen, bring it into the combustion chamber there, and we're going to pipe it down in from the one and only open vent that came into the system. Now, this vent is going to be uniquely shaped such that the water level, when maintained, will actually choke itself off through the oval opening that's in the back of there, and will maintain a water level right at above the other shaft, which then goes out and will will touch but not pierce the wall. What that will allow for is the condensation of the reactions within the room to condensate within that tunnel and start to drip and come down. We're basically going to make a big water conduit coming out of the sky, because this thing is, we're talking 200 and some feet into the air here if you were to take all the rocks away and peer into it. And along with that, we're going to have a bunch of condensation. The way we're going to make this room shaped, it's going to have a unique pattern where everything is dripping and dripping and dripping, furthermore pulling the static electricity, which is quarantined to the outside of the structure because of the 35th barrier and the lack of the top, and pulling it down into the system. Then with a bunch of condensation and other factors, we're going to create a nice bit of static electricity over here in this room. And what we're going to mysteriously do is put a conduit outside the system. Not in the system, but outside the system, through the wall. And that's where we're going to milk the energy off of the system. Now, of course, where there's a yin, there's a yang. So we have to have another one that's actually grounded to a slightly higher potential. And that will be the T's to pull it into the one conduit. And we know over time that all that reaction is going to make that little crack in the wall, even through that 6 inches of rock that it had to arc through. But for a while, we're going to have some fun, right?